It's a rainy day in Jacksonville, but we're nice and dry here in the studio, in the This Is Jack studio. Today's guest is Shapiro, and he owns a business called Axia Advisors. We're going to get into that and a little bit of his background, what led him there, and how he ended up here in Jacksonville. So if this is your first time, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment, but let's get into it. Welcome to This Is Jack's, a hyper-local podcast. We're going to do our best. We're going to bring on successful business owners, the people who drive the cities, share a lot about what makes our city so great. So you can be confident and comfortable. This is a city that you want to call home. Sean, welcome. This is Jack's.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, man. It is raining out there.
It is.
Nice summer day. We did our best to stay dry coming in here. But as Floridians, we're definitely used to it. So
definitely built for this.
It's a nice break. I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like, people come down on vacation. They're like, man, it rained while we were there. But to us locally, we just went through like a drought season where it was just blazing hot, right? So I'm like, wow, this is nice weather.
I was just telling someone on the way here, I just planted new sod in the front yard. Not a great idea to do that in the middle of the summer, but I was thinking we were going to get a lot more rain than we've got in the past 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So today's a blessing for our grass.
That's good.
It's going to be thriving.
That's definitely good. All right. Well, we kind of talked about it in the intro, Axia Advisors, and you've got some other things going on, which I want to get into. But let's first kind of talk about how you ended up here in Jacksonville. I know you went to school at UF, correct? And you graduated from there.
Go Gators.
Yeah. Yep. What did you study there at UF?
Entrepreneurship, actually.
Okay.
So I went to the business school there and studied entrepreneurship. Me and Tim Tebow, same 4 years.
Oh, yeah?
Was blessed with that as well. So I got to see a lot of national championships.
Nice.
And I'm a big basketball and football fan coming into it. So it was great. I mean, we were there during a golden era, which was awesome. Yeah.
It was like football and basketball championships.
Correct. Got to see 2 of each. Yeah, it was great.
And now the entrepreneurship, that degree existed back then. Okay.
Yeah. Business school, they had entrepreneurship track. So I went to school originally thinking I was going to be in finance, but in 2006 to 2008, there was a lot of shifting in the economy, as we all know,
right.
And finance jobs were not plentiful. Yeah. I was going to go work on Wall Street, probably become a trader, probably be pretty bored and not really enjoy my life. Glad that didn't go down that track. And I kind of thought, hey, I have this burning desire to be an entrepreneur and start my own thing. And I thought that the opportunity would have been in real estate coming out of a downturn in the market. So I went to school, studied entrepreneurship. Okay. And graduated in 2010.
So you always had an interest in real estate as well, kind of married up to that. And now you grew up in Coconut Creek, Florida. So for the listeners out there who aren't familiar with the map of Florida, that's down south, Pompano Beach, Fort Lauderdale area.
Correct. Yep.
Pretty busy down there. And you maybe could have your pick. What was it that brought you all the way up to Gainesville to UF? From down there in the first place?
I mean, what took me to UF was just education.
Just school.
Just schooling. Yeah. Best education I could get in the state of Florida on a public scholarship, public school. So It's nice going there and not having my parents fork out a lot of money. Was able to come out debt free thanks to Bright Futures, which was awesome.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
So
that program was like you had to have like a 3.0, right? It was like a B average, 3.0.
And you had to test certain test scores as well. Yeah.
Great program. Do you know if they're still running that in the state?
They are, but at the time, you were either able to get 75% or 100% picked up. Now I think it's like 50 and 75%. So I got lucky at the time that I was eligible for it. But yeah, anyways, went to UF just because of the education. Didn't know much about Gainesville. Besides, I love the Gators. I went to a few football games growing up, but didn't spend a lot of time there. What got me away from Coconut Creek after Gainesville and not want to go back home was it was more hustle and bustle than I really wanted.
Okay.
I like people. I like kind of Southern hospitality. I like friendliness, politeness. And in South Florida, that's a bit missing.
Yeah.
Growing up there is different, but then as like my tail end into high school, you could see culture there was changing and demographics were changing where things were very hustle bustle.
That's 2006.
Yeah. 2006, 2010. And then, so my wife was actually going to college here at UNF at the time. We weren't married obviously at the time, but we grew up together. We went to middle school and high school together, very close friends. And I always came and visit her at the beach. And I was like, man, like this is a cooler beach than South Florida. Like, wow, this is a great place. I could see myself living here long term and raising a family and whatnot. So we'd come out here and bring all my buddies from Gainesville, and then she'd bring all her girlfriends over to Gainesville, and we go back and forth. And I fell in love with Jacksonville during college, and then I moved here 3 days after I graduated from UF. I started a job 3 days.
Going.
Yeah.
That's great. That corridor from Gainesville to Jacksonville, it's a pretty easy route.
Oh yeah.
For sure. And, I went to UNF and then had friends. Yeah. So had friends. I'm not really a diehard. I quit college twice. So
they kept pulling you back in. That's how amazing UNF is, right?
Yeah. But I had friends at UFC. I grew up in Tampa, St. Pete side.
Yep.
So same thing, kind of ended up here for school around the same time, graduated high school in 2006.
Nice.
So I was here that same period of time. And so you graduated, and then you took a job. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Here in Jackson. So you went to school for entrepreneurship, but then you took a job. So what does that look like?
So I took a job with the premise of I'm going to try to get the highest paying job I could and save away enough cash to then go and learn real estate, either do my own real estate, and we'll kind of get into that. But basically, I worked at Everbank doing refinances, mostly a commission job, which I thought would give me the highest success rate for income potential in a short amount of time. So I worked at Everbank for a year, and I left there and I went over to JWB. So Jacksonville Wealth Builders, they're a big single family real estate build to rent company. And they knew the market backwards and forwards, and they were really growing. So I went over to them and I said, hey, give me an opportunity to come learn from you. I'll come work, do whatever you guys need sales wise, and teach me the market. Because I didn't know the market here. I knew the market in South Florida, but every real estate market's different, as you know. So I got to learn in the trenches of them building their company, which is now one of the biggest companies in the Southeast. Yeah. And, they're a great organization. They taught me a lot about leadership and culture, and building company culture was very, very important to them. And that resonated with me and with all my future endeavors. I mean, I took a lot from that, and I was there for about a year, and then I went out on my own, started wholesaling and started renovating homes after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's pretty cool. So you basically went to that corporate world as kind of a stepping stone.
Yes.
To, build your skill set, to hone in on it and to learn more and to gain more knowledge. It's like you had the school knowledge, but then you had the real world knowledge to back it up and then stepped out on your own. I had in the notes here also that, you've got a pretty impressive journey, and you've gone from owning, a roofing company, right?
Yeah.
Before co-founding Axie Advisor. So,
yeah.
Where does the roofing company come in at the point where we're at in the story?
Yeah. So real estate was wholesaling houses until I had enough cash to be able to buy my own and do more renovation and actually close on deals instead of just wholesaling.
Okay.
So once I was able to do that, I started renovating houses, and my general contractor, who is now my business partner, he was actually a project manager at the general contracting firm I used for all my rehabs. And we hit it off, became friends. And I told him, hey, if you ever have any kind of want to leave and start your own business, I'll be your investor. I'll back you. Because I just wanted to be in business with him. I said, I didn't care what the business was. Didn't matter. We could sell snow cones. We could sell carpet. Didn't care. I'm a people first kind of person. I believed in him, and whatever he wanted to do, I knew we'd be successful together. So he came to me a few years later and was like, hey, I think I'm ready to make the move on my own. I want to do residential roofing.
Okay.
I was like, okay, great.
How
much money? What does the partnership look like? We started in planning for it early 2015. And we launched it officially in the summer of 15. And we got a hurricane shortly thereafter. So I went from a silent partner and a financial backer to, I can jump in and help Cameron, who's my partner, really scale this company. There was a lot of demand for high quality roofing contractors at the time, and thought I could do more than just stroke a check. Yeah. So I basically put I pretty much closed down the real estate stuff short term and kind of finished up whatever rehabs I had. I was still doing some wholesaling here and there, but my core focus was on Reliant Roofing, which is the name of the company. So we started in 2015, just the two of us, and fast forward, we scaled it up to 125 employees.
Wow.
About 25 million a year in revenue. Great people, great company culture. it was just it was an amazing environment to be in. We just had a really, really great culture there and the people. And we thought there was an opportunity to take an exit. The market was pretty hot in 21 when we sold coming out of COVID. There was a lot of private equity groups that were looking for strong home service companies. And fast forward, we went to market and we sold our company to a private equity group with the intention of us staying on board and continually growing the company with them as kind of our bigger support financially, help us kind of get to a bigger level. It doesn't always go as planned. So we were out of there a little bit sooner than we thought.
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes. So that was kind of the fast forward of getting to Axia basically.
Okay. Before we get to Axia, you mentioned something in that story, talking about exiting that business.
Yeah.
And I know you said that exiting a business is one of the topics that you're interested in discussing.
Yeah.
And so what I'm curious is, have you built a repeatable model that you follow for that? Or is it different every time?
To get to an exit, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, every industry is different. So, buyers are out there looking at different industries and they put different criteria for different industries, but you could sell a company pretty much at any size if it shows profitability. It's just the way that you go to market and the way that you would sell it is much different. That comes in a lot of different flavors. It really just depends on the industry, what kind of level of revenue and profit that they're looking for, EBITDA. So it varies a lot. I wouldn't say that there's this proven roadmap. I would say there's a proven roadmap to running a legitimate, high quality company. That's probably just more focused on leadership and ethics and principles more than it's focused on getting to a certain number. And those are things that we talk to people about all the time when we're helping people kind of grow their business. It's not always about the numbers. It's people over profits. The profits will come as long as you're taking care of your people and you're running a legit business.
Do the right thing
100%.
And do it well.
Yeah.
And the rest will follow.
100%.
Yeah. That's basically the model I follow.
Yeah. It's a good model to follow. It's proven to work.
Well, let's talk about it. You know, what were some of the pivotal moments that on that entrepreneurial path that took you from exiting the roofing and then getting into Axia Advisors today?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a pretty unique approach to how we kind of started Axia. So Axia Advisors is an investment banking firm here in town. For those that don't know, investment banking is also known as being a business broker or representing companies that want to sell. So you would easy analogy would be, would you sell your house on your own or would you get represented by a realtor?
Yeah.
Same thing for us. We're doing the same representation, but for a business.
Okay.
So we're helping them go to market, get prepared to go to market, make sure that all their financials are in order, make sure that all their documents are put together. And then we have all the connections on the other end we know the buyers for certain industries or certain types of businesses, certain demographics or geographic locations. And we have those connections that we go out to market then. And we go out confidentially and market their company. We solicit offers. We put the offer together. There's a lot more due diligence in selling a business because they're doing deep dives on your personal life and on the business health and all that kind of stuff. So Axia came to be because we are represented when we sold Reliant. We had an investment banker that did a great job. But it was very eye-opening to us that they didn't really have a lot of industry experience specifically. They were more financially educated people. They were MBA kind of level guys, really good at the numbers, but they didn't know roofing. They didn't really know construction. So going through our transaction, we learned a lot about how transactions work. We saw a lot of the things that could have been done differently. If our representative would have known more about our space and our industry, they would have been able to ask a lot more questions and do more deep dives and interview the other side, the buyer group, like they interviewed us and kind of grilled us and took us through the ringer. So that's where the passion of wanting to help people and see them do something successful and learning from your own mistakes, and not that they're mistakes, but maybe missteps that could have been done better. That's where Axia was born. Okay. It was just, hey, we've learned a lot. How do we give back? How do we do this for other people and make sure that, you get one crack at it to sell your company most of the time? Yeah. Let's get it right.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing also is like, so much of those just filling the need that you just kind of not stumbled upon, but experienced yourself the need for it. And so then took it and said, yeah, we'll take it to the next level and do it better. And so for the average small business owner or, working dad out there that's running this small business and taking care of his family, or it could be anybody, that's just the example I'm familiar with, right? The last thing he wants to worry about is figuring out what's the net worth of my business and how do I package this together and how do I deal with this? So that's where you guys step in.
100%.
Kind of a lead.
It's also like, I mean, if you think about it, like you're busy enough just working in the day-to-day of your business and keeping it growing and being successful.
You can't take the time off to do that. You can't take the time off to research it, to learn it, then to put it into action. Yeah. Or else then
start cold calling private equity groups and say, hey, I'm the owner of this company. Do you want to buy it? And then at the same time, you're not closing deals for your actual company, and then you're losing money, and then your financials start getting a little wonky. Yeah. So there's, the representation's key.
Plus, it's just not your skill set. And, I'm a big believer in I focus on the 8s, right? If I'm like an 8 out of 10 at this skill set and I'm a 2 out of 10 at this one, forget that 2. I'm going to give it to someone else. And I'm going to take this 8 over to a 9 and continue to, be good at it. So that's the
specialized skill sets. That's what it's all about.
How do you think being in Jacksonville, I mean, you could probably be anywhere. Mm-hmm. What is it that keeps you here in Jacksonville all these years?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just the people. I mean, my wife and I, and now we have 2 kids, and I mean, we love it here. We live at the beach, and the people are so nice. And you open up a door for random people, and you ask them how their day's going, and you just start conversations with everyone that you meet. And I've met so many great people here, and I think the biggest draw is that we're in Florida, but we're in the southern part of Florida, even though we're really in the northern hemisphere of Florida, right? But the mentality here is very southern hospitality, and that's missing from most of Florida because there's a lot of transplants in Florida, which is great. It's what makes our state special.
Great for you and me, for our businesses,
absolutely,
and our lifestyle,
absolutely. But there's something to be said for, there's something to be said for the culture of Jacksonville, and in our age. What we're seeing is a huge transformation in our city. You talk to people that are our parents' age, and they're like, we would have never dreamt that this was happening, that, Shad Khan would buy the Jags and he'd be putting $2 billion in the stadium, and the North and South Bank are being renovated, and people are moving to downtown. Downtown was just drugs and crime for 100 years. And there was always this bad connotation of when you flew into Jacksonville and you had to drive across 95 that you look at Jacksonville and drive straight through it because it was a dangerous place to be. Right. Well, that's not the case anymore.
I go down there all the time.
Yeah, it's a great place. And I mean, there's just so many cool little neighborhoods, and there's just so many great hubs of different culture here that are all melded together, which just makes it a special place. So we have no reason to leave here. We're going to be here for a long, long time, and it's been fun raising our kids here. And it's a special place and a special time. A lot of it, and I know you know this from business, but right place, right time.
That's it.
And I think we're there right now. I really do.
So much opportunity. At this stage. And, you said something earlier that I felt was kind of a resounding story on this podcast. This is Jax, is where I don't know if growing up in Coconut Creek, you were like, someday I'm moving to Jacksonville.
Right.
Or if it just happened.
It did.
And we all are like here and kind of telling that same story. I don't think I've met anybody that's like, I just set my eyes on the city. There was a few people that they did through research and saw the opportunity kind of from an analytical point and came here. But growing up in Tampa, St. Pete, I never imagined I was going to be living here. And I always thought I was going to go back. I had different jobs and careers here, and I was like, I'll go back someday. And now that I could, I'm like, well, no, this is home. There's nothing there for me except for like all the touristy stuff at the beach that I'm not interested in. Right.
Yeah. I'll give all the credit to my wife. She out of our high school, our graduating class was maybe 300 kids. I think she was the only person from our high school to go to UNF. She came here to visit Jacksonville. It was her first time visiting, was her college tour. She fell in love with it. She picked it. So I blame her for dragging me here. So, yeah.
There you go. So it works out. And, talking about your family, and we know you've got the business and then you've got family. So it's basically like a balancing act, right?
Yeah.
So how do you, with your diverse interests, you like golf, you like the Jaguar games, how do you manage to balance life and the demands of running these businesses at the same time?
Yeah. I mean, I would tell you, I would have had a much different answer when I was running Reliant because of so many employees there. that brings on a different level of accountability. You have to be accountable to a lot of people. So things can get extended into the wee hours sometimes, nights and weekends. You got to pick up the phone if there's an emergency call coming in, you got to handle it. Since then, Cam and I have been focused more on lower overhead employee count ventures, to kind of take a breather and enjoy that work-life balance that we felt like we earned through the trenches of having a bigger company. So now it's, phones off. People know that I'm not answering after hours at 5 o'clock. That's it, and if you need me, shoot me a text. If it's an emergency, shoot me a text.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy cooking. My son now, he's 5. He really enjoys cooking. So we get in the kitchen pretty early now. And he gets to help. We throw the aprons on. We got matching aprons, and we're in there whipping it up and trying to cook family dinners every night.
What kind of food are you cooking?
You name it, I'll cook it. I mean, I grew up in South Florida, where there's a lot of cultures food wise, so a lot of Hispanic food.
But are you like baking? Are you on the grill?
I'm doing it all. Okay. I do a lot of sous vide. People are like, what's sous vide? It's where you're basically putting a pot of water with a immersion, circulating water around it, and you're putting meat in a vacuum sealer. So I do a lot of that. But yeah, I mean, I had the pellet grill going this weekend. I made a nice pulled pork. So a little bit of everything, man. But it's more about the getting your mind off of the day-to-day grind of the work stuff that you know it's going to be there for you tomorrow morning. Yeah. It's just clear your mind of that. Focus on something else. I like being concentrated and giving it my all. So being in the kitchen, or I'm out on the golf course, I'm giving golf my all. Or if when I'm in the Jag stadium, I'm giving the Jags my all, right? Okay. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not pulling my phone out to take videos and all that. I'm in the moment, and I'm trying to capture the memories, right?
Those things are your rest, and it's so important. You're not going to operate at max in the workplace if you're not getting the rest and you're not resting at max, right? So it sounds
I used to have that same conversation with all of our employees. Our employees were amazing because they all bought into the bigger picture of what we were building, but they would give way too much. And I'd have to call them and say, stop working. I see you on the Google Drive right now doing stuff. Stop. Just stop. Put it down. Go enjoy yourself.
That's good. That's a great lesson. I love that. We got to make sure as we go on in life, we continue to do those same
100%.
things. And having kids and family, it's a lot. And as a dad, you're balancing like the providing and spending time with them, and both of them are equally important.
Yes.
Shifting back to the city, I know you're still involved in real estate and other things, but let's talk about a little bit of local development. I mean, what kind of local developments are you currently involved in, or which ones have your attention?
Yeah. So, I mean, locally, what I'm involved in for the most part, just single family, do a few multifamily. I got a few multifamily holdings, long-term buy and hold stuff, mostly focused at the beach because it's in my backyard. It's the area that I know. I know every street backwards and forwards. I know the values. I know what I could do with them. And a lot of times I'm just buying for perpetuity to pass down to our kids. I'm very bullish at the beach, in Jacksonville in general. So anytime I have the opportunity to buy right and hold it long-term, I'm all about it. But I do a lot of new construction, a lot of infills. We buy lots and we build some new constructions and sell them, and some of them we hold. And then projects that I'm very watchful of is core Jack's Beach, downtown Jack's Beach. There's a lot of redevelopment going on there. A lot of cool restaurants, a lot of cool events happening now. There's just a lot of development projects, which are just bringing in a lot of new people with a lot of new concepts. I felt like Jacksonville kind of fell into a rut of kind of having the same style food and the same proprietors everywhere. And credit to them, like they were kind of building it, but now there's people coming in from other states with other cuisines and other art interests and other music interests. And now it's cool to see that all being brought here to our backyard.
And different lifestyle levels.
Yeah.
I think for a while it was the same lifestyle level across the board. And now we're getting varied interests, which also that all goes to the diverse, economy that we can have. So I'm excited about those things too. What about Jags? What do you think about the new stadium? You touched on it a little bit. I'm excited about it. I haven't seen one single economic statistic historically that says when a city does a full renovation or a new build of a stadium, it has an adverse effect on the taxpayers. And then it's always a positive impact on everybody. And the whole district. going down there.
I mean, you're putting 4 seasons in. There's only how many 4 seasons in the United States?
I don't know. I'd have to Google it. But
there's not a lot. It's like a few dozen at most, right? So you're putting one of those in here. The guy that's putting it in, he's pretty smart. I think he has a pretty keen idea on what 5, 10, 20, 50 years looks from Jacksonville.
That's right.
If he's parking his money here and his ideas, instead of taking our team away and moving them to London or to Germany, like we've been hearing for a decade, he's putting all his money right here. I feel pretty good about where things are going. I think it's going to be really special to see this unfold. And then the entertainment district downtown, if they're going to, pull off the Duval Live, and we already have dailies there. I mean, the whole North Bank, it's going to be a real lively place that you're going to want to take your family, and tourists are going to want to come in and spend a weekend there. Yeah. And that's nothing but good for us. That's adding jobs. That's adding more people that work downtown, that want to live downtown. Transportation. We have all this innovation hub now for the transportation, where there are autonomous vehicles that are going to be running around Bay Street. I mean, who would have thought that, 10 years ago, that's like not even a consideration. So I think we're in a really, you hear from both sides, and sometimes you hear some negative comments. And I think that sometimes it's an uneducated viewpoint of what's really happening. And sometimes you have to see the long-term vision, and you have to buy into it. And if there's a lot of smart people smarter than you making these decisions with their own money, it's probably a good thing to follow that trend. Don't buck the trend too much. So I'm excited about it. It's awesome.
That's good. I agree. And I got pretty much the same viewpoints. I'm excited about Jacksonville. Always excited about Jaguars. I'm excited for the season. Yeah. Regardless of, I just want to go and enjoy it.
Yeah. Congrats to the Lawrences on the new news.
Yeah.
Baby girl coming here. So
it's exciting.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I feel really good about the team. Doug and Trent have done a good job over the past few seasons, kind of building it from the trenches, building through the draft.
Yeah.
We've never built through the draft. We've always tried to build through free agency. That doesn't work long-term, as we could see. So
my entire life, I have never been interested at all. And I don't know, maybe I'm just getting older, but also I think it's just the excitement level around it.
Yeah.
It's like, has drawn me in more to where I'm like, I'm going to watch the draft. I had roommates before that used to watch that stuff, and I would get so annoyed.
Couldn't be bothered.
But I was like, just get away with that. But now I'm like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So
season ticket holder, we go every game and get to bring the kids, and we have a fun time. Yeah, it's great.
Sean, I feel like we could talk all day, but we're pretty much out of time here.
That's awesome, man.
So for the listener out there, if they want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do it?
Website, axiadvisors.com.
Okay.
Easy way to book a call with me, or an email, Sean, SEAN @axiadvisors.com. Direct line to me. If you ever, if anyone out there is interested in seeing what the value of their business is, or what it looks like to possibly exit their business, always here to help, free consultation. Hear from the horse's mouth. I've been through the trenches of building a company and selling a company.
Yeah.
So I've seen it from both ends. So it's a fun, really exciting time. Just like you, when someone wants to sell a house, it's exciting. So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Sean, thanks again. Thanks for coming on. This is Jax. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.